Alright, hello and welcome back as always to Stake Defense version 2.1. This is the full release of it. So basically, the way I transferred like the same thing over and over was a pretty simple method called I know, what a shocker. Who would have thought that transferring fucking one thing from one scene over to another over and over and over would be simply just copy and pasting. So that's what I did. If you watched the previous thing for Stake Defense, we are adding a slight new mechanic, but also a new weapon, being a sniper rifle. So basically, whenever the timer at the scene ends, for the weapons box to appear, it will. As you'll be seeing it going on. That's pretty much how it goes. So once the timer ends, the weapons box appears. You shoot it. The sniper will appear to you. If you don't shoot it after 20 seconds, it will disappear if you just straight up don't want to use it. Pretty simple. Pretty easy. It's really just copy and pasting one thing from one scene to the other scenes, because they're all using the same basically lines of code in which I want this thing to spawn in at around this time on every scene, and it's going to be the same weapon. So you literally just, like I previously said, yeah, so pretty much just went through, copy and pasted everything from one scene to another, and then had to change the, what would you call it? The indicators, obviously a little bit, because not everything is the same. Every scene has different character names to imply different things, or different words to indicate to the game on what to do. But yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty much just copying and pasting everything down constantly. And then I don't think I've actually ever mentioned this. So basically, whenever I'm doing this, obviously I have to test it to make sure it works. That's pretty obvious. But simply, like, what I do to speed up the process is the timers, I set them down to a lot lower so that I can get it to spawn in like relatively immediately, just to make sure it's even working at all, because I don't want to, because basically after, on normal levels, after a minute and a half, the box will spawn in for you to shoot if you want to switch your weapon over, right? And so I'm not going to sit there and wait a minute and a half just to see that it doesn't fucking work. So I set the timer down to like 5 seconds or something like that, just to make sure it comes in and will even work in the first place, instead of having to sit there for that long. Because why in God's name would I want to sit there if it's not going to work? So I simply do that, make sure it works, and then I pretty much just moved on to a separate scene, or I guess technically it would be the hard mode of what's going on, and then just transfer it over to there. Same process. And yeah, I mean, it pretty simply is that. When it comes to doing something like this, when I'm transferring it over between multiple scenes, it is pretty simple to do that, as long as I can just make sure it works and then just move over to the next one. But I was running into an issue, which you probably have been seeing slightly going on, if you've been paying attention. If you're not, hey, fair enough. I do that all the time with YouTube videos. I don't take any offense. So basically, what kept happening is whenever you would shoot the box, right, the sniper would come into your hands, but as you can see, it would keep like kind of clipping between being above the player and being behind the player, which was a major issue for me that I was just kind of deal with, because it was just pissing me off. But luckily, it turns out I managed to fix it. So basically, what was going on was the Z order. I had it kind of like incorrectly put in, pretty much, to where the sniper would be on the correct order, on the correct Z order above the player, but only when the player broke it. So basically, wherever the player was at that moment, if they would cross below that threshold, it would reclip to being a lower Z order than it, so that it would clip behind the player instead of constantly being on top of the goddamn player. So basically, it just made me want to fucking blow the code up essentially because it was pissing me off. But luckily, we managed to get it fixed. And it was so damn simple to get it fixed too. It was so incredibly simple. But I mean, I guess I'm just a fucking. But it was simply just to put it as whenever the sniper is in collision with the player, the sniper's Z order is above what the player's Z order is. So goddamn simple. It was so freaking simple. But luckily, we managed to do it. I don't know why it took me so long, but yeah, we managed to get it done, thank God. And then we ran down through every single scene again, every single level again, and put it there. As you see, I was celebrating a little bit. We just had to go back down through every scene and make sure I had re-implemented it into all of it. And then after we did that, we were done with it. But yeah, as always, thanks for coming out to watch. If you find this stuff kind of interesting, I really appreciate it. And yeah, links will be in the description. If you want to go play, give me feedback. I really appreciate it. The mobile version and the PC version links will both be in the description. Both versions exactly the same stuff. Just the one has mobile controls, obviously. But yeah, hey, as always, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it. And yeah, I guess just have a good one.